Yo, what's up? Welcome back to another episode of the SWUS. What a Sunday, man, and I needed it. I had a great day. So just a quick rundown. I went 2-0 against the spread in March Madness, and I had Tennessee team total under. So technically 3-0 in March Madness. MLB almost swept the board. I lost the Mets, but I think I went my other six bet. No, I'm sorry. I went 5-1, 5-2 because I bet the Mets two different ways, but plus 2 units in the MLB. NBA almost swept the board there if it wasn't for Cleveland, including Bulls money line at plus 300. Made a ton of money today, and it was needed, man. If you've been watching, the last couple weeks have not been kind to me. So I had a real awesome Sunday. Definitely in high spirits right now. Not the most loaded NBA day for Monday night, but I picked 2 of the better games to go through, so we're going to run through 2. Let's go.
Welcome to the SWUS. The SWUS. SWUS. Hey, get the SWUS.
First up, we got Phoenix on the road in New Orleans here. Looks like the Pellies are catching 1 point at home. I actually see a Pelicans -1 out there, so I think this one's settling in around a pick 'em. We'll see. Total sitting at 224.5. Let's take a quick look at the spreadsheet, and according to the model, we should see an 8-point Pellies win. Final score 115-107 New Orleans. Injuries and inactives, and we'll start with Phoenix. And nobody as of right now, nobody on the report for the Suns. On the Pelicans side, Jose Alvarado is going to miss another game, and still no Brandon Ingram. Dyson Daniels is back, though. So Pelicans do get a piece back, but still missing Ingram. So before I get into this one, I want to point out the spot for Phoenix. Kind of a tough one here. You got the Suns playing their 5th game of this road trip. All 5 games against conference opponents, all against Western Conference opponents. Now you got another tough Western Conference road game against the Pelicans. Big game. Meanwhile, New Orleans, they haven't played a road game in 8 days. They've been all at home. And after this game, they have a day off and then another home game against Orlando, a non-conference game. So I'd say the spot slightly favors the Pellies here. I will say, though, I do like how the Suns are coming off an ugly loss. They got their asses beat by Oklahoma City with no SGA. So I like that for the Suns coming off an ugly loss, but fifth game of a tough road trip. So let's match these two teams up on the court. We'll start with some net efficiency numbers. If we use numbers from the last 10 games, these two teams are about dead even. 14th and 15th in overall efficiency. Strength of schedule, slight edge Pelicans, but not really. 8th to 12th. Suns have the edge on the offensive side, but Pelicans have the edge on the defensive side. So on paper, last 10 games, these two teams pretty much dead on. Let's take a look at the matchup for Phoenix on offense, and Suns have definitely been hitting their shots. They're second in EFG in the last 10 games. Other than that, though, not sure where I really see an edge here for the Suns offense. Pelicans have been elite on the defensive glass. Turnovers have been a problem for Phoenix, 23rd to 10th in that department. And look at free throw rate. 29th to 7th. So don't expect many trips to the foul line for Phoenix here. And on the season, New Orleans 9-5 against the spread against bottom 5 offenses in free throw rate. So against offenses that don't get to the foul line, Pelicans have a real nice hit rate here. There is an angle I like here for the Suns offense, though. I mentioned before that the Suns have been hitting their shots, but specifically they've been hitting their jump shots. They're 1st, 2nd, and 4th in efficiency from the long mid-range, the above the break 3, and the corner 3. They're not taking a ton of threes, but they're hitting them at an extremely high rate. They're shooting 54.5% from the long mid-range, 40.1% from above the break, 43% from the corner. And those are shooting numbers from the last 10 games. So the Suns are knocking down some jump shots. The reason that's significant, Pelicans have struggled to defend jump shooters. They're much better on the interior. So if Phoenix continues to shoot at this rate, I don't think there's any reason they don't put up a big number here. On the other side of the court, we got the Pellies offense. And honestly, I don't hate this matchup for the Suns defense either. Not that Phoenix defense has been good. It hasn't. But they've actually done a good job on the interior from 12 feet and inside. 12th in efficiency at the rim, 11th in the paint. The reason I bring that up, that's where the Pelicans need to score from right now. That's the strength of their offense. Where the Suns defense has been struggling is against jump shooters. Pretty much anything outside of 12 feet. The Suns are bottom half in the NBA defensively in the last 10 games. But look at the Pelicans shooting numbers. With no Brandon Ingram on the floor, Pelicans really don't have much outside shooting to exploit this. So I like the matchup for the Suns here. I like Phoenix. I didn't bet it yet. Not sure if I'm going to pull the trigger on this one because, like I mentioned before, really don't like the spot for the Suns. The 5th game of this tough Western Conference road trip. So I don't love the spot for the Suns. But as far as the matchup on paper, I like it for Phoenix. So it'll be Suns or pass for me here. Next game. Atlanta on the road in Chicago. Looks like the Bulls are laying 2.5 points at home here. That number's down from 3.5 because when I looked at this about an hour and a half ago, this is at 3.5. Total sitting at 222. Let's take a quick look at the spreadsheet. And according to the model, we are deadlocked here. Final score 115 in this one. Injuries and inactives, and we'll start with the Hawks. Jalen Johnson listed as questionable. I think he came back. He was out for a while, and I'm pretty sure he came. You know what? Let me check. Rather than give you an I think, I literally can look right here. Sorry. No, he hasn't come back. So he hasn't played since March 18th. He's listed as questionable. So Hawks might be getting Jalen Johnson back. That's huge. Other than that, though, still missing Trae Young, still missing Okongwu. So Hawks by no means are healthy. On the Chicago side, we got a couple question marks here. DeSumo listed as questionable and Alex Caruso listed as questionable as well. But Caruso's always listed as questionable. He's one of those guys, so I wouldn't read too much into that. DeSumo is on the report, though. Before we get into this one, we need to point out that the Bulls are on a back-to-back. They just played a road game last night in Minnesota, which they won, which was awesome for me. I had the money line. Bulls are 6-6 against the spread on 0 days rest this year, though. Really not much to go by there. Betting trends for the Hawks, and these Atlanta Hawks are 4-1 straight up in their last 5, 4-1 against the spread. They just lost the other night against Milwaukee, but they had won 4 in a row. Thing is, those 5 games were all at home. They had a 5-game homestand. Now they go back on the road. They're just 1-4 against the spread in their last 5 on the road. On the Chicago side, 6-10 against the spread since March 1st for the Bulls. Just 3-8 against the spread in their last 11 at home, though. Bulls have not been covering at home. One thing we got to take note of, though, Chicago has owned Atlanta. The Hawks are just 1-5 against the spread in their last 6 meetings against the Bulls. Just 1-4 against the spread in their last 5 trips out to Chicago. And one last thing to point out, 7 straight overs for the Hawks. 7-0 to the over in their last 7 games, Atlanta. Also, Chicago's 8-3 to the over in their last 11 as well. I didn't make a graphic for that, but Chicago's also been trending towards overs. So trends pointing heavily towards an over here. So let's match these two teams up on the court. We'll start with some net efficiency numbers in the last 10 games. Straight up, Atlanta's been playing better than Chicago. I mean, in overall net efficiency in the last 10, Hawks are 17th, Bulls are 21st. And look at strength of schedule. Atlanta's 10th, Bulls are 23rd. So the Hawks have been playing better basketball against a stronger schedule. Look at that offensive rating for Atlanta, 3rd. The Hawks are 3rd in overall offensive efficiency in the last 10 games. Chicago on the season just 6-9 against the spread against top 5 offenses. They're also 5-9 against the spread against top 5 defenses as well. So teams that are playing elite on either side of the court has given the Bulls problems. The Bulls cover the number at a much higher rate against bad teams. But the real matchup to look at for the Hawks offense is right here. Look at the 3-point shooting numbers here. Hawks kind of remind me of the Rockets in a sense that out of nowhere, they're like the best 3-point shooting team in the league. I don't know where that came from, but they are top 5 shooting the 3 ball from the corner and above the break. 43% of the Hawks shot attempts in the last 10 games have come from beyond the arc, and they're 3rd and 6th in efficiency. So they're not just taking a shitload of threes, they're hitting them at a very high rate right now. And the reason that's significant, look at the Bulls' defensive numbers in the last 10 games. I mean, they've been terrible against the 3-point shot, and it goes deeper than the last 10 games. Chicago's been getting lit up from 3 for a couple months now. The Bulls have really struggled to defend the 3-point shot, so as long as Atlanta's shots keep falling at this rate, I mean, there's no reason the Hawks don't put up a big number on the scoreboard here against Chicago. On the other side of the court, we got the Bulls' offense, and this is where you can find some value on Chicago. I mean, look at the free throw rate, 2nd to 26th. Bulls should get plenty of trips to the foul line in this one. Atlanta on the season just 6-10 against the spread against the top 5 offenses in free throw rate. That being said, Atlanta has terrible numbers against the spread against every single team and every single playing style because the Hawks just have a terrible number against the spread. So I wouldn't read too much into that. But no question, the Bulls should get plenty of trips to the free throw line here. And the matchup gets even better for the Bulls offense when we look at shot zones. As we know, the Bulls are not much of a 3-point shooting team, which has kind of been the only spot where Atlanta's played decent defenses against a 3-point shot. Look at these shot zones here inside the 3-point line. Chicago should basically score from anywhere they want inside the 3-point line. Hawks are bottom 10 in defensive efficiency against all 3 of these zones. So overall, I like the matchup for both offenses. The Bulls are on a back-to-back. Maybe we see a little bit of lazy defense there. And the Hawks have hit 7 straight overs. Oh, and the Bulls are 8-3 to the over in the last 11. Tell me how we don't bet the over here. I already did. I took the over at 221.5. A little worried about the pace because the Hawks haven't really been playing at the fastest pace, but It's gone over the total in 7 straight Hawks games. So I see no reason not to bet it. I'm in. Give me the over at 221.5. Live show for NBA is going to be at 3 p.m. Eastern time. MLB live show at 4 p.m. Eastern time. If you're able to make it, would love to see you in the comments. If you want my top bets, parlays of the day, or you'd like to join the Discord, head over to KyleKirms.com. The information's right there on the homepage. Let's get this weekend started off properly. Coming into this one with some momentum. Just had a great Sunday. Let's keep that rolling. Remember to bet responsibly, and I'll talk to you in the Discord.